Hey, good morning, everybody. Oh, sorry, it's not morning. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to our talk for the day. We're kind of waiting on a lot more people to come, but we're here. I'm here, and someone is asking to record this meeting, so I will allow it. I will allow it. Um, Thank you guys for joining. We have a few of us in here so far. We're gonna give it a little bit more time. We're gonna wait for some more people to come in this call. In the meantime, feel free to put your camera on. Feel free to um, get comfortable because this is going to be a cool little hour that we're going to have talking about technical interviews, talking about tech jobs, and all of those great things. So, thank you guys for joining us today. Probably going to give it about five minutes, 5 minutes. Yeah, we got a few more people going in. Hey, what's going on? Danon, Danon, where are you located at? I guess for now, everybody, I always love doing this.
Oh, Virginia, Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach, awesome. Welcome. Where is Virginia Beach? Is that near like Washington? Is that Northern Virginia? Is that
No, we call it Hampton Roads, like southern part. Yeah, because like DC, that's like the northern part. We're like the south.
okay? Wonderful. Southern, so it is Southern Virginia, but it's not West Virginia.
No, not west. It's like south. Like you see like Hampton Roads, like Google. You see like Norfolk, Portsmouth, seven cities. That's me.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Oh no,
Um,
you're welcome. It just computer science course has been drop kicking me getting through the math prereqs. Those prereqs stay tedious.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Calc
It'll do
2.
that.
Calc
Out to
2, it was an overload. So fall, get on programming. It's hard taking programming with Calc 2, but Calc 1, college wants to take that Java and Python. I gotta easily trend over it.
Definitely. Well, hey, you have a whole bunch of people here. Some people who've taken those classes, some people who um maybe are in the same boat, right? And we're here to talk about it today.
Yeah, even if it's like apprenticeships and others, because some colleges got like exit exams, because like ODU, they throw an exit exam us before we can get the degree, take the test before we get it.
What is it? What's an exit exam? What is that?
No, it's like a assessment of all the courses that you take, and after that, it's like a field test that they give, but not all colleges give that.
I see. I see. Wow. Wow. It's kind of like I get what you're saying. Like not really a final, but just like a very cumulative exam covering a lot of different topics.
Exactly, that's the one. Yeah, because ODU, they're like, we're doing everything like Java, so Python, they're like, you can transfer it in, but you gotta take our Java class.
Yeah. Got it. That makes sense. Okay. We're probably gonna give it 2 more minutes. Guys, in the meantime, drop where you're calling in from for the day, and we're gonna get started very soon. Uh Maryland, Alpha, nice. I believe we had Alpha last time. Orlando, Erica, awesome. We're happy to have you. Really happy to have you. We have who else is here that wants to share? Yes. Yeah, it was great to have you last time. Karthik is in Seattle. Awesome. I'm also located in Seattle right now. So shout out to Seattle. I'm not from Seattle, but I'm here. I'm here now. Orlando as well. Cito. Nice to see you, Cito. Always. Um, Anyone else? Nashville. Yes. I love that is a great place. Nashville is a great place. I've been there once. I've been there once. It was great. Fun, always fun in Nashville. Yeah. I had some Nashville hot chicken and my hot sauce touched my waffle. I had it with the waffle and it was way too hot. Like my mouth was like I was in heaven, but like it was just way too hot, you know? So it was a moment, um, beautiful moment, you know, just too spicy for me. Um, and we're going to share this screen is what we're going to share. Okay. So let's get the slideshow going. Let's get some slideshow activities. I want to start the conversation off. Well, I guess first off, thank you guys again for joining. I want to know like what are you guys' weekend plans? I keep asking questions. I'm pretty much I'm asking questions until people put their cameras on because it's not it's this is a very intimate day today. So you know it won't be too many of us. So let us get comfortable. Um, what do y'all weekend play? Also, feel free to unmute. You don't have to only comment. What do you guys got? It is Thursday evening. Now is the best time to think about what you're gonna be.
The weekend plans, yes, it's dating. Not sure, but college got me taking prereqs, so I'm trying to study the test out exam for my science, basically. Get that entry
Nice.
level in. They throw a lot of
Nice.
prereqs at me.
Nice. Are you going to be doing any you gonna get any rest? Are you gonna take a break, go for a
Oh
walk?
yeah, I'm gonna take breaths. I have to work too. It's hard getting a job, but gigging's not much as far as in y'all know how y'all say the Uber Eats, the Sparks, and the Instacart. It's like gigging because college schedules are complicated, but hey, got to get the study in.
Gotta get the study in.
Yeah, because it's just the science to get the entry part. So yes, I did take stats, but ODU gotta take it over because some of those college exams for like the test off, they don't recognize the 300 level. So I gotta take that over. So that's bad news on that one. But
Okay.
it's okay. I need linear. So again, ODU's got this thing where you gotta take calc before stats. It's crazy.
Wow. Okay, calc before. Okay, got it. What university is ODU?
No, it's ODU
Oh,
University in Norfolk, Virginia. Oh, yes. Anything is better than discrete. Oh, I thought about doing stats and discretes together, but yeah, my cousin did took discrete math. He said it's hard, but I was like, I've got to take linear because when I look at linear and discrete, those vectors. So I gotta master that. Oh man, those vectors. So I'm about to take linear. Stats, I can wait. Stats is just cakewalk. It just retake it over with.
yeah. Wow. Cool. We're gonna be fingers crossed on you all your exams this time around.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's science. I just gotta take one of the things for the test off paper. I ask questions to say tuition money, like take a challenge exam, because I did bio the transfer community college. So for that, take another science. So anything besides physics I can test off to bring in, might as well, because a lot of colleges don't want to admit it, but you can test out exams to get some credits though.
definitely,
But
definitely.
yeah, physics. But if I can't take the test off, I might have to take a science class, either physics, chemistry. I can't. I love context, so trust me, I keep losing context with glasses. I can't eat my contacts. So, but I might have to do
Mm,
glasses for backup.
definitely, definitely. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Alpha, I see you said you're gonna be doing some leak code and you're gonna be working on your app. So that sounds really, really fun to be doing this weekend. And Erica, happy birthday in advance from everybody here. Happy birthday. Have a happy birthday weekend. Put some celebration emojis. I can't find them. Okay, we'll find them. Happy birthday in advance. Where do okay. Not seeing the emojis. That's okay. Um, there we go. Um, Happy birthday in advance. If anybody else wants to say what they're going to be working on this weekend, or what they're going to be doing this weekend, Erica said physics is fun. I'm glad that's your opinion on physics.
I'm a part of a cohort with the Dallas Software Developers Group. I'm not in Dallas though. So I'll be working on the projects because we're supposed to be building out web applications and the
Nice.
MVP is due by next week.
Nice, 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 nice to see you, Yasa. Nice to see you. Awesome. Thank you for pulling up. Thank you for coming out here. Um, cool. All right. I guess if anybody else want to add what they're doing this weekend, they want to share with everybody, um, feel free to, like I said, unmute, add a comment, and then if we can get at least like we need at least two more people to like be on camera at least, and then we can start. We can get it going because there's a few of us in here. We can do it. I believe in us. I believe in us. We just need to. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. We could do more. We could do more. Thank you though. It's great to see everyone here. So just starting off, I want to welcome everybody for coming. I'm Ramel Bailey. I created FiveJump. But some of you guys have just seen me online. I try to help as many people as I can where I can, who are trying to break into this field because it's not easy. And it's not just because the economy is different. It's always been a little bit difficult to get in, to get your foot in the door, or to get that next job in software engineering, right? And it makes sense, right? The reward is great. The reward is great. You know, Great opportunities, great jobs. You get to work on really cool stuff, and impact a lot of people, right? So it is the juice is worth the squeeze, is kind of how I put it, right? So thank you guys for coming. We're gonna be having a lot of these events coming up, because yeah, why not? Why not? Why not come together and be more communal about this? Um, we've had we've had a number of events in the past. I guess we've been around for like a few years. And when we started, we kind of created like a job board or a platform for people to find these entry-level jobs. And then after that, we've done a lot of workshops, training programs. We've helped people learn AWS and technical interviews and a lot of those kind of things. So we want to continue to have more programs and more opportunities to truly, truly prepare people, right? Because the network is growing. Network is growing. Um, Trying to think what else is necessary to say. Um, oh, one thing I do want to add is that, right, we had on our, I guess in the last year or so, right, we've had a good number of people use our platform to look for jobs. And in that process, we've ran into a lot of recruiters. We've had like a couple 100,000 people use our platform, or hiring.fivejump.com, right, to find jobs. In that process, we have had recruiters reach out to us, right? I've had different conversations with recruiters, about accessing some of the talent, some of the candidates that we have, use our platform, or just people I've run into. So please, I guess at the end of this, I can drop a link and you guys can drop your resumes, because recruiters are always looking for opportunities and companies are still hiring, right? So I want to put that out there. Awesome. Cool. So let's get into the conversation for today. So today we really want to talk about how you can go from failing to passing a lot more interviews, and passing more interviews. That's the key to getting a job as a software engineer, right? We all know about the dreaded technical interview. And when I first started, it literally took me a year of failing interview after interview to get to the point where I could pass any interview. And even after that, I was still lacking by a lot, right? So it is definitely a marathon, but we want to get better. We want to get better. Um, Cool. So today, here's a breakdown of today, right? I'm gonna go over the basics of coding interviews real quick. We're gonna do a live demo of an interview. I'm going to talk about an upcoming program that we have here, and then we're going to break out into group mock interviews because the purpose of today is for you all to get a lot of value out of it. It is more of a workshop than a lesson or a course today, right? Cool. Okay. Awesome. So, how can we pass more interviews, right? Just this is a brainstorm. Feel free to like drop any thoughts, any comments that you guys have about how we can pass more interviews, more technical interviews to be specific, besides what we have, right? We can improve our understanding of data structures and algorithms. This is one of the core parts of being able to pass that I think a lot of us skip this step, right? The better we understand our data structures, the better we will be able to solve these coding questions, the better we were able to, and it should say data structures and algorithms, right? Because they go hand in hand. The better we learn our different patterns, the different patterns when solving these questions, right? The more we understand that, the better we are, the more we practice with others. I think a lot of people practice using leak code solely. They're not able to actually work with other people to solve a problem, and it is very, very different sitting in your room all alone or somewhere all alone and trying to solve a problem and like hack it out yourself, right? Versus talking with the person and essentially coding along with somebody, right? Pair programming with someone. So that is something that is really, really going to help people out by a long shot. Um, let's see if anybody added any comments. I, oh man, when I'm in this presentation, I guess I cannot see. So let me exit this presentation. Let's see if anyone said anything. If there's any comments in the chat. Okay. Nobody said anything. Okay, cool. No worries. Okay. So I think when doing interview prep, right, when studying, these are some of the top resources that I recommend. I'm sure many of you also use these resources, NeetCode, Algo Expert, Hello Interview, Data Structure Visualizer tools. I I want to put a big emphasis on these data structure visualizer tools, these tools that allow us to understand data structures better, right? To understand how they work and um, how they function, right? It's I think it's very critical for us to understand the data structures, especially when we get into like graphs, when we get into trees, when we get into these more advanced data structures and the more advanced algorithms visualizing them really, really helps us a lot. And then I always recommend these core interview prep platforms that are not LeetCode. I don't usually recommend people using LeetCode solely because at the end of the day, LeetCode is Netflix for engineers, right? And what I mean by that is if you consistently stay on the platform, right, you'll never be able to consume all of the content. You'll never be able to do everything. Um, and you can essentially be at a point where you've seen a lot, you've done a lot, but you haven't grasped the exact method and process to consistently solve these problems, right? And that's where we want to be. So using these resources are going to help you to more consistently solve these types of problems. Um, yeah. Okay. So just a quick step by step of solving these technical interview problems. Some of you may know this process. It's a really, really basic process. And the first part starts with asking questions to understand the problem. The next, we want to think about the different types of solutions that will work, right? Because there is never one way to solve a problem. There's never one way to solve a problem. And then planning your solution out, uh, coding the solution, implementing the solution, and then the last part, sometimes we miss, and this is very important, testing it, checking, checking your work, and improving the code, right? Making it more efficient, seeing where it can be better. So that is kind of some quick synopsis that will really help you set you up for success. understanding the problem is probably the most important part because it is the first part. And when you're working with an interviewer to understand the problem, you really want to first make sure that you're asking the right questions, right? You're going to ask as many questions as possible to clarify the question. And that is the difference between working with a leak code problem and working with somebody live. When you're working with somebody live, there may be specific things that they want to learn from you. There may be specific things they want to get from you, and they want to, specific skill sets that they would like to see you show and you develop. Um, I've actually heard people asking this question recently. I've heard people asking the question, hey, what skill set, what ability are you looking for to get out of me during this interview? Right? I think that question at the beginning of interviews a lot of times can be a really, really great question. Sometimes we don't have to ask that question. Sometimes you may know, oh, this is a technical interview, so they just want to see your technical skill sets and abilities, but you may be surprised at some of the things you're gonna hear when you ask an interviewer those kind of questions. So that is a really good question that you can ask and better understand like what is this person assessing? Like what do they want to know from me? Really great question. The next part is really going through examples. Examples are really important because they allow you to communicate what you think the the code should be able to do, right? And then what they think it's supposed to be able to do. And then it can also help you think about edge cases. It can help you think about different cases that um, you want to consider, right? You can ask about assumptions, right? Clarify as much things as you want to clarify about the problem. Edge cases like, maybe you have an input that is null or a data structure that's empty or when there's only one, right? When the size of a data structure is just one, how do we deal with that situation? And then you can break down the problem. That is something that is important, or at least you can start thinking about how you would break down the problem based on clarifying it. And definitely knowing your input, knowing your output, very, very critical. Very, very critical. And then the next thing, we want to start thinking about the different solutions so we can match what works and what doesn't work, right? So breaking down the problem is really, really great because it allows you to kind of start thinking about, okay, cool. Here's a problem I need to solve. Here's it kind of like broken down, and here are different solutions. There's never one way to solve a problem for the most part. There are generally multiple ways, but there may be one way that is better than another one for this specific case. And we should know why. We want to know why. And in this process, right, you can talk through the interviewer about the different solutions that could work, but are not the best for this specific case. And understanding why one solution is better than another is a critical skill that allows you to show your ability to handle trade-offs and understand trade-offs, which is literally the job of an engineer, right? Is to think about, why should we go with solution A over solution B? Why do we go with why, system A over system B? Why? It's the job of an engineer. Planning out your solution, right? You get to take the steps. You get to write out your steps. Now that you've agreed on what is the best solution for this case that the person has agreed on as well, the interviewer, you get to write out your steps. You can talk to your interviewer about these steps. And you want to be very, very detailed. Ideally, the more detailed you are, the better it will be, the easier it will be for you when you're trying to write out your code. So you can write these steps out in English, in pseudocode. It can be a little bit of English, a little bit of code, a little bit of pseudocode. However you want to do it, just a way to clarify your answers, your solution. And I recommend people write this in comments, right? You comment out all of this. Also, when you're writing your assumptions here and understanding the problem, you should write it in the comment section, right? I love that. I love doing that. Obviously, the next step, once you have it, you code your solution. And here's something here, right? It is best. We always say, hey, communicate as often as possible. We always say that. And I think that is the truth. We should be communicating as often and as much as possible. However, some people need to focus on programming while they're coding, right? For some people, it's hard to do both at the same time. I think it is okay to say, hey, can I take a few minutes just to write this code out? And then I'll begin communicating what I'm doing afterwards. If you can multitask, that's great. But if you struggle with that, it's fine to tell that to your interviewer and say, hey, I need a minute. I just want to type this solution out very quickly, and then I'll be back and we can talk about it, right? Also, some interviews may allow it, some may not, but asking the interviewer if you can look up certain logic or asking the interviewer, letting the interviewer know like where you got stuck. Like, hey, I forgot the syntax for um, you know, sorting something, or I forgot the syntax for creating a default dictionary, right? That is perfectly fine. Or importing something, right? I forgot the syntax to import this library in Python or in Java, right? It is fine to ask your interviewer for that or ask if you can look it up or that kind of thing. And I'm sure um, Facebook recently made an announcement they will probably start using AI in their interviews. I'm sure this is probably where AI is going to come in. Probably not to help them write their code. Who knows? But I think looking up certain information, like, oh, how do I do this in this language, right? What is the syntax for this? I'm sure those are the kind of questions that they will probably allow in these technical interviews. And then the last step, which is really important, right? This separates people, but really reading over your code, checking for any syntax errors. Um, a lot of times nowadays they make you run the code against real cases, right? Like you're doing leak code. So you really want to look over the code, read it. You want to check to see whether or not, the output solution is correct, right? So everything could run properly. It could be great code, but it's just not correct, right? You made a mistake. The solution is wrong. You want to check for that. You want to start debugging. You want to show that you have those abilities, whether you want to use print statements, um, whether you want to just trace through the code with an example, right? Some people have even recommended creating assertions or calling the function directly, right? You call your function that you created, you put the input in, and you see what the output is. You check, right? You make your own cases to check. Um, yeah, and then look for a way to improve your code and clean up the code, right? That's something that's really great. Okay. Do we have any questions? Anybody have any questions, comments? I haven't been looking at the chat. I'm looking for my mouse. Here's my mouse. Okay. Okay, cool. No comments. All right, cool. So next we're gonna go over a practice problem really quickly. Um, and we're gonna kind of demo this, and then after that, we'll talk a little bit about some of the programs that we have at FiveJump, and then we will get into our next step. So I want to put this in here. I want to put this in the comments, and we have a great, great, great volunteer, Andre. Right? Andre's a software engineer. He's been in the industry for many years. He will he'll be working with me today. We'll run this, and we may not finish the problem. We may just kind of get through the first about 10 minutes. I want to time box it so you guys have time to work among each other. And we had a question. Any advice for getting used to not using your own IDE? Hmm. I think my advice for not using your own IDE, maybe practice with if you know the type of tool that the company is going to use, right? You can practice with that tool. Um, but I think most of these new editors, right, are actually more advanced. I'm not going to say more advanced in your IDE, but it's somewhat basic in a sense of, you write your code and it runs the code and you don't have to, a lot of the boilerplate code may be written for you, or just may be simple to run. So I don't know. I guess my advice for not using your own IDE is be prepared to have to write boilerplate code. Sorry. What I've been seeing in the industry lately is that they are essentially giving you blank files and they want you to write everything, right? They want you to make the function, they want you to make your main method. They might want you to make the data structures. They might want you to make everything.
Are you
Lynn,
referring everything as in part of like whiteboarding? Because if it's no IDE, they're pretty much testing for that for the interviews. Because you mentioned pseudocodes that you can put in as part of the problem.
yeah. I mean, I guess everything to an extent is like an IDE. Like I think we're going to be using Replit. Replit is its own form of IDE. But these are the kind of uh, tools that I've seen, right? Tools where maybe you have to run, maybe you make a file, essentially a general Python file, and then you could kind of just run that file, right? And it's more of just a file in the cloud, right? So I hope that makes some sense. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and Replit does have trials which you can keep subscribing where it, like you do coding challenges, but again, they're going to cut off where you need a subscription.
Okay,
Right.
Andre.
I guess. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was saying, Andre, could you write your email? Yeah, yeah, it's andrez@gmail.com, right?
Andre Z. Davis.
Yeah, this may not work. What's your username?
Um, I don't have like an actual account with Replit. I think let me check it real quick.
This might be you.
I'm gonna go through the link.
They want me to
That
pay.
link you gave me isn't the proper link. Like that's the actual source code of your
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Got it. Okay. Well, in the meantime, there were some questions. Um, Lynn asked, should we practice without using any external libraries, or is it usually fine? No, I think you should be practicing using libraries, right? There's certain um, functions or things you can't use in Python without calling a library, right? Like math, there's certain math functions that you cannot use in Python without using the library. So you need the libraries, but I think actually memorizing what that command is, what the import is, right? From collections, import such and such. I think that is valuable because sometimes they won't allow you to uh, do that. Andre, could you make an account?
Yeah, yeah, I'll go ahead and
Yeah,
uh
that's our best bet. Hey guys, sorry about the difficulties. Um, I think once you have an account, actually, I think it will actually work.
I mean I'm 1 second.
Yeah. Should we practice using anyone have any more questions or anything while we were figuring this guy out?
I have my
Um,
account, by the way. Sorry, my fault, my fault.
so my question is, okay, um, of course, study data structures and algorithms. If you do come across a problem that you cannot solve or you can't figure out, could you also just kind of advise us what route you would take at that point too?
Hmm. I think That's a good question, right? I think I've had it in situations where I didn't know the answer to a problem, right? And I think at that point, what I recommend is this. I think in this case, you need to ask questions and maybe share where you are stuck, right? Share where you're stuck, share where you're not understanding about the problem. And a lot of times the interviewer will give you a hint. The interviewer will try to reroute you or lead you in the right direction, right? Um, Especially if it's an interviewer that is helpful, right? The purpose of an interviewer, a good interviewer, is to actually help you to get to this right solution, right? That doesn't mean that's going to happen, but their role is to support you to get to the solution. So that's my recommendation, right? I've had an interview in the past where I, you know, went through the process. I asked all my questions. I had the assumptions. I had a method to a solution. We got a method to the solution. And where I messed up was I I was I didn't fully plan the solution out well enough before I started programming. And I forgot the algorithm that I needed, essentially. And then I had to kind of ask different questions to my interviewer about, hey, how do I how do I do this? What is the process for this? And I guess there was a limit to the amount of support that they could give, right? He was able to answer some of my questions. Other parts, at least I kind of knew like, okay, well, if I don't get this, I know where I went wrong. And it's kind of like if I see a problem of this similar to this, I know, what I'm gonna have to start studying so it doesn't happen again, which is I have to make sure I don't forget that algorithm, essentially. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, that is what happened to me in that interview. Um, yeah, we can use CoderPad.
I just try to open. Oh, okay.
Say
It's
it
working
again.
now. No, at first it had an error message, but it looks like Coder Pad is working now.
Awesome. Oh, that's yeah.
All right.
Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna be interviewing Andre. We're gonna keep this brief. Again, we may not finish. We're running out of time, kind of already. Cool. So Andre, welcome. Hope you're doing good today. Today I'm gonna be interviewing you. Um, and here's our problem. Let's get started. So imagine, let me remove this. Imagine we are giving you an array of integers, um, and all the, we want you to return three um, indices that add up to zero, essentially, that don't contain any duplicates. So, for example, imagine we have this array, right? Negative 1, 0, 1, 2, negative 1, and 4. We want to return all of the, sorry, not indices, but we want to return all of the values that add up to 0. And we want to put them in an array, in a nested array, essentially.
I see. I
Uh,
see.
yeah. So in this example, you can see in this example here.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what the problem description is saying. Um, so we want a triplet of integers that add up to zero, and we want to return all the triplets that meet this constraint. Uh, yeah. So for example, given this list that we have here, we have negative one, zero, one, two, negative one, and negative four. But uh, the, these negative ones, they have their own index. because they're placed uh, in those different places in the list, and we can still use those duplicates simply because it's unique indexing. So we have -1 and -1 and 2, which gives us a 0. We also have -1 and 0 and 1, giving us a 0 as well.
Yep.
So yeah, this is relatively straightforward. Um, the first thing that comes to mind is I could, um, for example, have and it's given to us that uh we have pointers I, J, and K. So I is our first, we can treat this as our first loop, right? So I see that I could have -1, for example, be our I. I could have 0 be the J, and I can have K be the next one.
Could you write it out so we could see it a little bit better?
Sure, sure. So I start off, I is just going to start as our outer loop. So I'll go ahead and so we'll say I, we set to 1, then we'll have J set to 0, then I'll have K set to um, just 1. And every time
Are these indices or
no, no, these are the values. These aren't the indexes. Maybe I could write these out as indexes. So, but this is just for the sake of understanding the problem that
got
I'm
it?
writing this out, right? So -1 corresponds to this first value.
Got it.
And this is just the start. This is the complete outer loop. And then J will iterate um, over values in the next loop, right? So it will have to start with 0. And then K, um, but then again, it doesn't actually start at 0. In fact, we can just set everything here to be -1, and we'll have a check that makes sure that the indexes are all different. So that would be like a constraint that I would put in before I actually do an operation
Okay.
that's to see that all the triplets equal to 0.
Okay. So essentially this is a nested loop, a
Yeah,
triple
so
nested loop.
what I'm modeling is like a
Yeah.
triple. So
Yeah.
num num in I, and then I have
Yeah.
bring this down. So for num in I, and then I would say um, you know, and this is not like not
Yeah.
actually code right now.
Yeah, 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 no, I know, I know. That makes
J
sense.
and then yeah, okay,
Yep.
right.
Awesome.
And then I would check to make sure that I is not equal to J
Yep.
and that they're not equal to each other, right? So
Yep.
following the constraints that are up here,
Yep.
then I would um, I would do a check. I would add them all up to see if it's
Yep.
equal. And if that's the
Got
case,
it.
I would add it to the output list. So I would have an output list and add it there.
Got it. What
That's,
what other what other solutions do you think we could go down?
I mean, yeah, so this solution is it's a bit costly time-wise. This is
Yeah.
all cube time complexity uh to do
Yeah.
this implementation. And there's definitely
Definitely.
something, better that we can do here.
Yeah.
So in order to cut this down a bit, we can actually use a dictionary or a hash map. So instead of this naive, like nested for loop, we can use a hash map to track the history. So we have a hash map that tracks the history of certain numbers that we've seen. So, for example, um, I have a I have -1, and I do the operation. So let's say here, let's go with what's my thing now? So I have I is equal to -1, and then just for simplicity, -1, -1, -1. This is the very first inputs
Yep.
for the very first operation that I'm doing, right?
Yep.
And I I check, I do the checks and it doesn't go through simply because the indexes are different. So now we change this guy, which is going to be 0 now. But it doesn't pass. Um, and it won't pass simply because of where J is. So
Hmm.
we're gonna go next to um we're gonna say 0 and then -1 here, right? And the and so but here's the thing. We're now in the um we're now at the second J, right? Um In fact, actually, I don't even think that's how I want to do that. So I was kind of following along what I previously did, but that's not actually what I want to do. Instead, what we want to do is I want to do -1, 0, and then 1. So this is what I have. And then I can, I do this check and I see if it is equal to, if it follows this constraint
Yeah.
here.
Got it.
And, it does, so we can add that in. But I can also add this -1 to oh, no, no, no. I'm trying to think I'm getting a bit ahead of myself.
Okay.
So
Is
I
this the
understand.
hash map? Is this the hash map solution
Yeah, so I'm trying
or
to,
hash set?
it's just, you can do a hash set, I believe,
Yeah.
because what you're doing is basically it's storing the state
Exactly.
of the number, right? So
Yep.
that's my understanding of it. It
Yep.
stores the state of the number. So um I have two numbers
Yeah.
and I check to see if that complement the this I have these two
Yep.
numbers. I add them up, check if the complement exists in the hash map, right?
Got it.
So for example, if I did -1 and 0, if I did this addition, I get -1. I want to see if -1 is in the hash map. If it is, or if it's in um, actually though I do want a hash map and I'll tell you why later. But check if -1 is in the hash map. If it is, check if it's not the same index as what we like have. So the indexes that we're looking at, check if it's not the same as those.
Yeah. Got it.
But I'm trying to think.
So this is essentially your method where you have a hash map
Yeah,
or a hash set in this case, whatever you want to use, hash map, hash set,
right,
and then you're implementing a nested loop as well.
right, right, exactly.
And
So
then,
yeah, that's what I would do.
yeah, got it. Okay. So hash
So,
map, that's another solution, and that solution is a lot more efficient.
right.
Um,
So,
yeah.
so it's
Okay.
O of n squared times complexity. And then your,
Yeah. O of
yeah,
n squared
using the hash
complexity.
map. It
Yep.
takes, O of 1 time generally or constant time to read from the hash map to get the complement that you're looking for. See if it's,
Nice. Is there any other solution that could be more efficient or than that?
so, um, that's as good as it gets because, um, well, the thing is, we made the optimization to save the history, right?
Yeah.
For a third number that we're adding, right? But
Yep.
we're always going to have to, we have to check all pairs of, to be able to say whether or not it's to say whether or not it should be added to the output or not. So we have to
Okay.
directly check. So I would have to, for example, directly check -1 and 0, and then check for its complement in the hash map.
Okay. What if we
So
were to do a sort? What if we were to sort it? Could we have a more efficient solution if we were to have a sorted array?
so if we sorted it, so for example, I can go ahead and sort that real quick just so I can verify this. So -4, then we have our -1, 0, 1, and 2. So if I yeah, if I sorted it, so for example, I could have a so the question with this is kind of thinking about like where do I set my pointers at? So if I had I, J, and K, for example,
Yeah.
um, or even just I and J, and then looking for the complement in a hash map. I would have to kind of think about how I'm going to move my pointers. So maybe I would set, but then again, there's not much information to go off of
Yeah.
where to move it.
Yeah.
Uh, let's say, for example, that this was I and that this was J.
Yeah.
If this is I, then yeah, so we get say -1, look for that in our hash map. And let's say we find it, that's good. If we found it, then maybe we would go left or if the value, for example, if the value is too low. So um, let's say that this is like -2, right? Let's say -2 and 0, and it's -2, but we couldn't find the complement in the list. I would then probably go up to 1. So I would compare -2 and 1.
Hmm.
But then again, I could move to the left and then I could find -3 in the hash map. So it's not super clear
Yeah.
doing an implementation with a sorted list.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that. Well, okay, cool. Well, I think for the sake of this example, we kind of know the solution that we would have went down. The next step would have been, kind of talk about the different solutions. We talked about different ways we can do it. We did trade-offs, right? We talked about what we think is the most effective solution, and then the next step would have been to implement. But for the sake of time, we're not going to be implementing. Um, I want to um, really quickly, I guess, talk about. Thank you, Andre, for helping
Yep.
us today. I really appreciate it. I want to talk about our cohort program that we have. So we are starting a cohort within FAANG where we're helping engineers get their next software engineering jobs, right? And this is going to be something really, really great where we are going to be bringing in recruiters, right? We're going to be bringing in senior engineers that work at these top companies. We're going to be, we're going to really make sure to support and train on solving, coding questions, right? Becoming really, really great at solving these coding questions from a fundamental standpoint. So we can solve, not memorize, but actually solve new problems. We're going to learn about system design interviews. We're going to learn about behavioral interviews. And then on top of that, um, I have had the privilege of helping a lot of people land jobs at big tech companies, right? So we're going to be using these strategies along with the experience that I've had, helping people land jobs at these big tech companies to make it more efficient, make the process more efficient. So, we are not new to this, right? We've been doing this for a while. Um, and the last 3 years, I've helped people land jobs. Now we're making a program out of it. And essentially, I guess here's an example of one guy. We helped a guy fresh out of college this year. He just signed an offer, and his total comp over the next 4 years is, 650K, which is really nice. And this is a guy who thought he was going to be leaving the country a few weeks before, right? He thought he would have to leave the United States because his visa was going to expire and he graduated without an offer, right? So the purpose of this program is really to set people up for success, set people up for successful careers. And I think the biggest thing is just the fact that we want to teach in a way that you're actually going to learn, that you're actually going to enjoy it, and you're going to be able to work with other people, right? A lot of the issue with when people graduate or when people aren't in school anymore is they don't get to collaborate. They don't get to work with other people. They don't get to, uh, they don't get a lot of instruction besides sitting down, studying on their own, that is set up for people who have CS degrees and who are experienced, and also for people who went to a boot camp or who's self-taught, right? So our learning strategy is going to be helping people, um, no matter where their point is, right? No matter where they have a lot of experience or if they have a little bit of experience working in the industry. We're gonna really break things down, break concepts down, and make sure people are able to be successful. And that's something that, right, most programs these days, they're not gonna be able to train you with that. If they have senior engineers and they have recruiters and they have people who have these high accolades at these top companies. So definitely, definitely would love to have people come check that out. This is a paid program, right? It's gonna be about, something like this, right? But it's a really great opportunity for you if you're serious. If you're serious, it pays for itself, right? When you get your role, when you land your role, you won't think about the money. You won't think about whatever it cost you, right? Because you'll be in a new role and a new gig. And again, at FAANG, like I said, we have recruiters that we're going to be working with and all that kind of stuff. So definitely, if you are interested in really leveling up, make the investment. It is worth the investment. I promise it's worth the investment. We're going to do everything in our power to get you there. And I think a really big goal for us is we're literally going to support you like it was us. So that's kind of our motto when we do that. Cool. So thank you guys for sticking around for that. Um, does anybody have any questions about this upcoming program? Awesome. Cool. Okay. So when does it start? We don't have a date on it yet. We don't have a date on the start of the program yet. To be honest, at the moment, we're putting our curriculum, we're putting everything together. Um, when does normally start? Yeah, we're putting our everything together, so we don't have a start date. But ideally, it would be this fall, right? Ideally, it would be this fall. So we really want people to, you know, how often a week will it be? It's going to be several times a week. It'll be several times a week. But everything will be recorded. So if you miss something, you can still come out, right? If you miss something, you could still get results. Um, yeah, it'll be several. Maybe I have to look at the curriculum again. It's either 2 or 3 sessions a week, and then the longest session is going to be like Sunday evening, um, like a longer session that day. Yeah, yeah. But it'll help. It'll really help a lot and prepare people for what's next. Um, and we're not gonna leave anybody behind, right? We're not gonna leave anybody behind. So that is yeah. Yeah, this fall is in short, this fall. Yeah. Yeah, but again, if you are interested, right, as we figure out a date, we want to reach out to you, right? So if you're interested, just go to the website. Oh, let me drop the link. I'm bugging because you guys can't really find this. Go to the website, put your name in there. Um, your phone number, right? We'll reach out to you around when we're like trying to start the program before we do. We'll give you a call and we'll talk about some specifics. Awesome. Cool. So I know we went way, way, way over. If you guys have like just a few minutes to go to work with other people, like maybe like 20, 30 minutes, you don't have to get to the point of actually solving the problem today. right? Just like kind of what me and Andre did. We didn't go through the whole problem. We went to a stopping point, right? We went to a point where we asked questions and we went through different types of solutions that we could implement for this problem. So if this is something, if you want to do this, I'm going to split us up into rooms. Could you guys comment what level, right? Like if you want more like entry coding problems, more kind of medium or more rigorous, just comment like easy, medium, hard, and I'm going to set you up with somebody, throw you in a room. Easy, medium, okay. Easy. Okay, I'm going to get these rooms ready. Let's see. How many rooms do we need? I'm gonna manually assign people to rooms. So, okay, so Yasa and Miranda, I'll put you all in the same room. I'm gonna drop you in there now. Let's see. Miranda, Yasa, and medium, but I won't be able to stay to the end. Okay. Um, I guess I'll put Alpha and Cito in the same room. Cito. Okay. Yeah. Wait, I'm trying to see who's here. Oh, it looks like everybody's in their room. Or do you guys see the option to join the room? Oh, okay, there we go. Cool. And Alpha, you see how you can join the room? Move to.
Hey, do you mind? I do have a question before I join the room.
Oh,
Are you gonna stay until like we
yeah, I'll stay
finish?
on. I'll stay on.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have a question later. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good.
Mm.
Thanks.
Yo, is how did you make the rooms?
Oh, you want to join?
Well, I'm just curious. I'm just curious, like where did you make the
Wait, hold on. I'll cut the recording first.